Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Dr. Gershon, I declare that all assembled and in order for the Northeast Ohio Medical University 2017 commencement ceremony. Good morning to everyone assembled here today. My name is Dr. Faiz Safari, and as a member of the Northeast Ohio Medical University community, I extend a warm welcome to the alumni, faculty, staff, students, Board of Trustees, Foundation Board, family member and friends who join us for today's celebration of the 37th commencement ceremony of our university. I would like to welcome and introduce the members of the stage party who will not be speaking or participating in the hooding of student today. I will ask each person to stand as his name or her name is called. Please hold your applause until everyone has been introduced. From the Board of Trustees, David Haller, the chair, Dr. Daisy Alford Smith, Charlene Ramos Chesnes, Paul Bishop, Richard McQueen, Carissa Bonack, James Gerges, and from the University Administration, Mr. Richard Lewis, Secretary of to the Board of Trustees and a Vice President for External Affairs. Ms. Michelle Mulhern, Executive Assistant to the President and Associate Board Secretary. Mr. John Ray, Vice President for Administration and Finance. Ms. Carolyn Lanier, Chief of Staff and a Vice President for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Mr. Daniel Blaine, Vice President for Advancement and President of the NEOMED Foundation. Ms. Maria Scheimer, General Counsel. Dr. Richard Kasmer, Vice Dean for the College of Pharmacy. Dr. Eugene Moad, Interim Vice Dean for the College of Medicine. And Dr. Chris Ritter, Vice Dean for the College of Graduate Studies. Thank you. I now have the privilege of introducing our President, Dr. Jay Gershon.
Thank you, Dr. Safadi. Thank you for serving as Grand Marshal for today's ceremony. I must also thank all of your peers, our distinguished faculty members, who each share a role in the successful graduation of our students today. This university would not enjoy its reputation for excellence without your talents and commitment. Would all members of the NEOMED faculty please stand, if able, and be recognized. And now, will everyone please stand, if able, for the national anthem. Gentlemen, if appropriate, please remove your hats. be seated. Good morning, and welcome to all on this most joyous occasion as we celebrate the accomplishments of today's graduates who have given their all to make this day possible. Thank you, family. Thank you, friends. Thank you, faculty and staff, alumni, donors, board members, and community partners for all of your support. We know that today's graduates thank you as well. To our graduates, each of you will become part of larger networks, professional, social, and alumni. Many of you will become more interdependent than ever before through patient-provider relationships, team-based care, and organizational behavior. All of you will witness the importance of understanding yourself and the impact such awareness can have on the outcomes of others. For you see, understanding oneself is the first step in knowing how to control one's behaviors, to improve and to adjust based upon situations and interactions with others. Such recognition serves as a basis for great listening skills, building trust and influencing others. It is only upon assessing oneself that one can assess a patient and maximize the positive outcomes of the patient-provider relationship. So I want you to know how important you are. I want you to know how important it is for you to understand who you are, and I don't want you to take such emotional intelligence for granted. Of all the great things you learned before we met you, of all the interprofessional training and cultural competency you've gained, none of it can be optimized without self-awareness, for it is the key to serving patients well. At this time, I am pleased to introduce to you our Board of Trustees Chair, whose own emotional intelligence has enabled him to be a great business person, industry leader, and advocate for excellence in community-based healthcare. Please welcome Mr. David Heller.
Members of the class of 2017, I am ever so humbled by the amazing work you've done as students in the classroom, as pre-professionals during your field training, and as volunteers in the community. The board is a support system for NEOMED students, faculty, and administration, as well as its alumni. For we are stakeholders to the governance that ensures the long-term welfare of the university, of which you will soon refer to as your alma mater. The board appreciates your commitment to excellence, the thousands of hours you have contributed as volunteers, and your dedication to improving the wellness of the diverse communities of Northeast Ohio and beyond. Each of us, as members of the communities of Northeast Ohio, as business leaders and professionals, from those providing health care to those providing health insurance, will tell you that before we were able to realize success in our careers and truly understand others, we had to first understand ourselves. Emotional intelligence leads to positive change. For the one providing the service as well as the one being served. As healthcare professionals preparing to go into practice or residencies, and as teachers and scientists striving to advance education and research, know that your ability to provide excellence in patient-centered care and research and discovery and innovative approaches to education can only be optimized if you are. You are a truly remarkable class, so don't forget the importance of self, for it will help you in your service to others. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, Please accept our congratulations and best wishes to you and your families. As you know, there are family and friends, faculty, staff, alumni, and future colleagues of whom you can depend upon for reflection of your self-awareness. And then there are those with whom you may have no connection, those who have compassion for others they may not even know, those who are self-motivated to help others. We are now proud to introduce you to one of those most compassionate people we know, and bestow upon her an honorary degree as she is widely respected as a supporter, advocate, and leader in the NEOMED community whose contributions have helped to advance the growth and development of our future health professionals. It is my pleasure to call to the podium Judith Barnes Lancaster and to invite our president, Dr. Jay Gershon, to tell you more about her achievements.
Thank you, Mr. Heller. Judith Barnes Lancaster, Esquire, a graduate of Kent State University and a former health care administrator who entered law school at the University of Akron after her youngest child finished college, is a huge advocate for education, health care, and community. So, if I was to simply list the various ways in which Judith Barnes Lancaster has contributed to the advancement of our students, you would immediately know why she holds a special place in the hearts of many at NEOMED. But if I was to list the various organizations for which she serves in an active role, you would immediately wonder, how can one's heart be so big and one's compassion so impactful that it manifests across an entire community? While she credits her parents for instilling the importance of education in her, she won't say much about herself, other than that she does it all for the students. We know we are fortunate to have her, for she has spent a lifetime of giving and serving. Judith is an attorney who practices privately in Canton and serves as special counsel to the Ohio Attorney General. She is a former principal and president of Global Management Group, Inc., a sports and entertainment company. Judith is an active trustee of the Law Alumni Association of the University of Akron and a member of several boards of directors, including Walsh University, Mercy Medical Center, and the Canton Museum of Art. Her professional memberships include the Ohio State Bar Association, the American Bar Association, the Stark County Bar Association, and the Sports Lawyers Association. Judith is also an active member in a number of community organizations, including the Lynx, Inc. In 2007, Judith created the Judith E. Barnes Lancaster Diversity Student Scholarship for a deserving Northeast Ohio Medical University student. Judith is chair of the NEOMED Foundation Board of Directors and a former member of the University Board of Trustees. And if time and treasure were not enough, Judith manages to serve as a leader to administrators and board members, a mentor to students, and a friend to the entire community. In 2015, the Judith E. Barnes Lancaster Esquire Campus Gateway was officially dedicated on the NEOMED's campus. The Gateway connects two existing campus buildings and highlights an esplanade as students walk to and from their classes. If you have had the occasion to meet Judith, you would see why the word gateway is so befitting for her personality. Judy's tremendous support and service for NEOMED and our entire region are all noteworthy and quite remarkable. Therefore, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and the Board of Regents of the State of Ohio, I award Judith E. Barnes Lancaster the honorary degree Doctor of Science honoris causa in recognition of her lifelong dedication to improve the health, economy, and quality of life of the diverse communities of Northeast Ohio, for her leadership on both our foundation and trustee boards, and for her significant support to advance NEOMED students. On a day in which we all convene to celebrate and watch the conferral of degrees to 225 amazing graduates, we choose to focus on the important theme of emotional intelligence in healthcare, in part because it is with heartfelt pride and optimism that we all acknowledge the significant contributions that you are about to make in education, research, and service. Today's commencement speaker, Dr. Claire Pomeroy, knows quite a bit about the importance of self-awareness and the impact of one's actions on others. She has talked about her own experiences made her acutely aware of herself and how they became the impetus of her dream to become a physician and to care for others. It is my pleasure to call to the podium Dr. Claire Pomeroy, who's today's commencement speaker. Dr. Claire Pomeroy is President and CEO of the Albert and Mary Lasker Foundation. She is responsible for advancing the Foundation's mission to improve health by accelerating support for medical research through recognition of research excellence, public education, and advocacy. A longtime advocate for public health and for patients, especially those with HIV/AIDS, Dr. Pomeroy passionately supports ongoing investment in the full range of research topics with a special interest in healthcare policy and a focus on the importance of the social determinants of health. Dr. Pomeroy has edited 3 books and published more than 100 articles and book chapters. As a leader in the field, she serves on the Board of Trustees for the Morehouse School of Medicine and serves other boards of directors, including the Sierra Health Foundation, the Foundation for Biomedical Research, iBiology, Inc., and the New York Academy of Medicine. In 2011, Dr. Pomeroy was inducted into the National Academy of Medicine. Dr. Pomeroy earned her Doctor of Medicine degree at the University of Michigan and her MBA from the University of Kentucky. In 2016, she received an honorary Doctor of Science degree from the University of Massachusetts Medical School. She has held several faculty positions at the University of Minnesota, University of Kentucky, and the University of California, Davis. In 2003, Dr. Pomeroy joined UC Davis as Executive Associate Dean and served as Vice Chancellor and Dean of the School of Medicine from 2005 to 2013. At the University of Kentucky, she served as the Chief of Infectious Diseases and Associate Dean for Research and Informatics. I had the great pleasure of serving on the Board of Directors of the Association of Academic Health Centers when Dr. Pomeroy served as chair several years ago. I can personally attest to the fact that she is an extraordinary leader and a strong advocate for medical research and health professions education. Please join me again in welcoming today's keynote speaker, Dr. Claire Pomeroy.
Graduates, today is your day of celebration. Today, your hard work culminates in the great honor of receiving your degree. Today, your family, your friends, and your community celebrate your dedication and your successes. Today, you officially join the most noble of the professions, those dedicated to improving health and serving others. Congratulations. By virtue of the credential you will soon hold, people will turn to you at their most vulnerable moments. They will share with you, as with no other, the intimate details of their bodies, their darkest fears, and their dearest hopes for the future. They will turn to you with the hope that you will discover new knowledge, new insights, new cures. They will literally trust you with their lives. This trust is a gift and an honor, and always remember that this honor comes with great obligations. The obligation to use your knowledge to benefit others, the obligation to put patients' needs above your own and to embrace the value of altruism, the obligation to be a leader in your community, to take on the responsibility of addressing the needs of all your communities, both locally and around the globe. You are graduating at an unprecedented time of challenge for our nation and for our professions. You will practice your new profession in an era of tremendous change as we rise to address the urgent need to reform our healthcare system and achieve our mission of better health for all. It has been said that change does not roll in on the wheels of inevitability. It comes through bold vision, continuous work, and unflagging dedication, and this is what you are called upon to do. So as you accept your diploma today, you are also accepting the charge to lead us in the change our country needs. Seize the moment, lead the debate, and define a brighter future. Use the power of your education to redesign our care delivery system so that it is truly a health care system, not a sick care system. Use your new knowledge to create a system that highlights prevention and wellness, a system that provides coordinated care, a system that is safe, accessible, affordable, and equitable. Embrace your role as a societal leader, one who will work to correct the parts of the healthcare system that fail to serve the principles of social responsibility and social justice. The United States has led and achieved tremendous advances in medical care, from vaccines to transplants to DNA sequencing to stem cell therapies and more. These are extraordinary milestones of progress that you as health professionals and as a society can be proud of. But we cannot be proud of the fact that our country continues to experience unconscionable inequities. Our healthcare system remains inaccessible and unaffordable for far too many in our nation, and health outcomes fall far short of what a great nation like ours should achieve. The United States spends more per capita than any other country on healthcare and yet has tragically disappointing outcomes. Despite spending almost twice as much per person compared to other developed nations, we rank among the worst in indicators ranging from infant mortality to life expectancy. You must proclaim that this is unacceptable. Our healthcare system today is characterized by shameful health disparities, disparities on the basis of race, ethnicity, geography, sexual orientation, immigration status, socioeconomic class. Your health status should not be determined by the color of your skin or the zip code in which you live. You, must proclaim that this is unacceptable. As Martin Luther King profoundly stated nearly 5 decades ago, of all the forms of inequality, injustice in healthcare is the most shocking and inhumane. And yet these disparities and inequalities are even more true today. Consider that men without a high school diploma live a decade less than men with college degrees. People with the highest incomes live 10 to 15 years longer than those at the bottom income levels. These are statistics, but their importance is in the lives of real people. And here at NEOMED, you learn that the call to change is urgent. You know that the failure to act is measured in human suffering. The cost of inaction is no longer bearable. Robert Kennedy said, each time a man stands up for an ideal or acts to improve the lot of others or strikes out against injustice, he sends forth a tiny ripple of hope. To the students we celebrate today, together, you can set in motion multiple ripples, and those ripples can come together as an uplifting wave to improve health for all. So how do you choose the ripples you wish to make? As you embark on this journey, the answers will come, I believe, if you can discover and follow your own moral compass. And to do so, you must look inside yourself to identify your core values and use them as your guide. Our core values define who we are, what we prioritize, how we use the opportunities we are given. Our life experiences shape our core values, and those values in turn influence the life path we choose to follow. For most, our core values are rooted in our childhood. For me, it began in a home that was full of abuse and fear, and by the time I was 14, the choice was clear. Stay and risk my life, or leave and learn how to survive on my own. So I escaped, running into the dark night, just 14, scared and alone, uncertain where I would sleep or where I would get food to eat, and when a stranger gave me money to call a teen counseling center, I met people who found me a place to stay and helped me enter the foster care system. I lived in 4 foster homes. My first foster home was an emergency placement, and just as I was thinking maybe I could trust these people, it was time to go. From them, I learned about how hard it can be for the vulnerable and abused to trust the system, to trust even those dedicated to caring. My second placement was with an African-American family who, though not quite knowing what to do with this blonde, blue-eyed white girl, opened their home with kindness. And from them, I learned about race, equality, and social justice. My third placement was also with an African-American family. They were welcoming, but I was wary. And then one day I was doing a load of laundry, a load of whites, and I accidentally added a red sweatshirt. I was petrified. From my experiences growing up, I expected punishment and harsh words. And instead they said, "It's okay." And suddenly, we were united by a common color, pink. From them, I learned about compassion and forgiveness. And my final placement was with a couple who became foster parents just to take care of me, and to them I will always be grateful. They saved my life. I learned that by giving of ourselves, we can give life to others. I beat the odds People ask me if my job today as president of the Lasker Foundation is hard, and I tell them that nothing is as hard as being a teenager alone, struggling to survive. In a lot of ways, I was lucky. I had foster parents who took care of me and teachers who believed in me, but I saw a lot of foster kids who were not so lucky. Kids who were failed by the system, kids who society was willing to throw away, kids who saw no future and therefore gave up hope. And from those children, I learned what really matters. From their teachings, my core values of caring for the vulnerable and fighting for social justice were born, and those core values have been my moral compass and have guided all that I have done since. I went on to complete my training in infectious disease, and I entered practice just as a new, unknown, and at the time terrifying disease called HIV/AIDS began claiming the lives of previously healthy gay men. I saw young men who looked like old men, their bodies failing painfully and catastrophically from this devastating fatal illness. And I saw them experience heartbreaking rejections, even in death, from families, friends, and work colleagues who could not accept that they were gay. I found myself working in a society and in a healthcare system that often rejected and stigmatized my patients. So as I established the first HIV clinic at the Minneapolis VA, I fought for those men. I fought for them against unfair judgment and abandonment, and I will always be grateful to the patients I worked with during those early years of the epidemic. They taught me that sometimes you have to push the system to do what is right, to work towards the greater good. Most importantly, those patients taught me what courage is, and that love and acceptance are ultimately more powerful than hate and stigma, that caring will always be stronger than rejection and discrimination. And through that work, I was given the opportunity to live my core values of equity, diversity, and social justice that had been shaped by my early life experiences. So I share with you one piece of advice: embrace your core values. Understand what gives meaning to your life so that you can know the right way for you to give meaning to other people's lives. Starting that AIDS clinic, living in foster homes, surviving on the street as a teenager are the experiences that have led me to live every day of my life serving one primary purpose: helping the most vulnerable, the people society is willing to abandon. For me, my core values are stirred to passion by the reminder that, as many have said, the greatness of a society is defined by the way it treats its most vulnerable members. Patients will bring much more than health challenges to the healthcare system. They bring the harsh realities of life. And the health issues will frequently represent symptoms of the disappointing inequalities in our society. And this means that to care for them, you, must be community leaders who address social issues. Raise your voice to educate others what we now know to be true, that health is determined only in small part, about 10%, by the care delivered in hospitals and clinics, that a much larger part is due to social determinants, things like income, education, safe housing, job opportunities, access to healthy foods, all the circumstances in which we live and work and play. And addressing these social determinants, these fundamental drivers of health status, that's a big task. But it is one your time here at NEOMED has prepared you to take on. This is your time to live your core values and attain the ultimate goal: making people's lives healthier and society stronger, kinder, and more just. You are the future of this country's well-being, and I am confident that each of you will help fill the world with hope and happiness and health. So in closing, I ask only that you heed Harriet Tubman's call to action as she said, "Every great dream begins with a dreamer." Always remember, you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars to change the world. Congratulations, class of 2017. Live your dream, change the world.
Thank you, Dr. Pomeroy, for sharing such great lessons learned and for your insightful remarks. And now, we begin the conferral of degrees to our class of 2017 students. I invite Interim Vice President for Health Affairs and Interim Dean of the College of Medicine, Dr. Elizabeth Young, to the podium to present the candidates for the Doctor of Medicine degree.
Thank you, Dr. Gershon. Students, faculty, parents, family, friends, and staff. I stand before you a NEOMED alumna, a passionate faculty member and teacher, a physician, and yes, a proud mother. And I truly do not have the words to express the honor I feel and have felt in serving as the interim dean of the College of Medicine. Class of 2017. As I've reflected upon this day, which you will remember all of your lives, I thought about what I would say to you. And I realized the one thing that you would not remember is what I said to you. So with that pressure off, I ask that you join me for just a few moments. Be with me in this moment. Sometimes as physicians, we find ourselves in uncomfortable situations with patients or their families. We've been trained to have strong interpersonal communication skills, but that preparation and training doesn't always prepare us for the unexpected. It was late on a Friday afternoon, and I was on call for Hospice of the Valley seeing patients at Hospice House. It had been a busy day with 6 or 7 admissions. I was tired and trying to wrap up when I got a call about a 20-year-old patient who was being transferred to hospice. He was unresponsive due to brain death after an unsuccessful suicide attempt. When he arrived, I thought I'd allow the nurses to get him settled into his bed, and then I'd assess him and write some orders. When I walked into his room, however, I found the transport team and the nurses a bit frazzled, and his mother, my age, staring at me with empty, bloodshot eyes filled with tears. It seemed that no one gave the team report that the patient was 6 feet 5 inches tall, and his room didn't have a bed long enough to accommodate his stature. So there he was, unresponsive and vulnerable, still lying on the gurney. I had a brief moment of sheer panic, and then summoned all of the mom and physician in me, and I said, "What is it with these tall boys not fitting in their beds? I have 3 of them just like John." At that moment, she looked up at me, paused, and then smiled. And I hugged her and suggested she and I go sit outside to chat while our nursing team got a bed extender for John. Now I'll give you that this was a risky thing to say, and retrospectively, perhaps I could have handled it better. But in that unexpected moment, I had to quickly summon my understanding of self, who I genuinely am, in order to care for both John and his family. I stood in that room of people, nurses, transport staff, patient and family, as a physician, a healthcare colleague, and a mother, all of these roles. While I could not for a moment imagine the suffering John's mother felt, I could understand the suffering a mother feels for her children, the awkwardness felt by my team in not feeling prepared for his arrival, and the need for someone to quickly formulate an action plan for the patient. As much comfort as the medications and others therapies could provide, I believe this interaction, spontaneous though it was, helped John's mother and me better navigate the tragic situation and form a bond of trust. Emotional intelligence, the capacity to be aware of, control, and express one's emotions, and to handle interpersonal relationships judiciously and empathetically. When used in tandem with the seemingly endless and perhaps more objectively measurable knowledge you have amassed at NEOMED, I believe you'll find the emotional aspect of your work to be as, if not more, important in outcomes, both for your patient and for yourselves. So whatever we choose to call it, that need we all have to understand ourselves so that we can effectively understand the circumstances of others, regardless of our differences, is the essence of being a physician. Thank you. The College of Medicine class of 2017 has selected the following exceptional faculty members to present their doctoral hoods. I ask that each individual stand as I call his or her name, and that you hold your applause until all have been introduced. Please join me in recognizing Dr. Dana L. Peterson, Dr. Joseph Zarconi, Dr. David M. Sperling, Dr. Thomas S. Boniface, Dr. Eugene M. Moad, Dr. Daniel A. Wasdal, Dr. Christopher J. Vineyard, and Dr. Drazen P. Petrenik. Dr. Zarconi, Sperling, Boniface, and Petrenik are also graduates of our university. Thank you. Please be seated. I would like to ask you to reflect on the qualities that distinguish the teachers you have chosen to present your hoods, attributes which I hope you strive to exemplify throughout your career. Finally, let me acknowledge the sacrifice, the joy, and on this very special day, the pride of your family and friends. We are all counting on the class of 2017 to keep us well, to heal us, and to ultimately care for us. It is my great pleasure and privilege to ask the members of the class of 2017 to stand, for President Gershon to approach the podium for the conferring of the degree of Doctor of Medicine, and for Dr. Sandra Emmerich, Chief Student Affairs Officer, to prepare to announce the names.
Members of the College of Medicine class of 2017, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and by the Board of Regents of the State of Ohio, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Medicine with all the rights, the privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. On behalf of the administration, faculty, staff, and students, I offer you our warmest congratulations and very best wishes. You may be seated.
Receiving the degree Doctor of Medicine, Dr. Ashraf Ahmad. Dr. Ahmad will begin a preliminary medicine year at the Cleveland Clinic Foundation, followed by ophthalmology at Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland. Dr. Bahadeen Al-Jarani. Dr. Al-Jarani will begin an emergency medicine residency at Duke University Medical Center in Durham, North Carolina. Dr. Mansour Assad. Dr. Assad will begin a transitional year at Summa Health System NEOMED in Akron, followed by diagnostic radiology at Case Western University Hospital's Medical Center in Cleveland. Dr. Ramzi Ataya. Dr. Ataya will begin an emergency medicine residency at Kendall Regional Medical Center in Miami, Florida. Dr. David Axe. Dr. Axe will begin his preliminary pediatrics residency at Geisinger Health System in Danville, Pennsylvania, followed by ophthalmology at Texas Tech University in Lubbock, Texas. Dr. Stephen Ayers. Dr. Ayers will begin an anatomic and clinical pathology residency at NCC Walter Reed National Military Medical Center in Bethesda, Maryland. Dr. Reem Azem. Dr. Azem will begin a medicine pediatrics residency at Case Western University Hospital's Medical Center in Cleveland. Dr. Ashley Ballister. Dr. Ballister will begin an obstetrics and gynecology residency at Summa Health System NEOMED in Akron. Dr. Alina Drial Banton. Dr. Banton will join Montefiore Medical Center in the Bronx, New York as a clinical researcher. Dr. Siraj Batish. Dr. Batish is pursuing a Master of Public Health and Clinical Research position at George Washington University in Washington, D.C. Dr. Alexis Begezda. Dr. Begezda will begin a pediatrics residency at NYMC Westchester Medical Center in Valhalla, New York. Dr. Alabel Bayo. Dr. Bayo will begin his internal medicine residency at Cleveland Clinic Akron General NEOMED in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Nicholas Boniface. Dr. Boniface will begin his general surgery residency at Mount Carmel Health System in Columbus, Ohio. Dr. Molly Boy. Dr. Boy will begin her family medicine residency at Tripler Army Medical Center at Tripler AMC, Hawaii. Dr. Shruti Brahmadim. Dr. Brahmadim will begin an internal medicine residency at the University of Louisville School of Medicine in Louisville, Kentucky. Dr. Martin Burbank. Dr. Burbank will begin an internal medicine residency at Kettering Medical Center in Kettering, Ohio. Dr. Kevin Kaja. Dr. Kaja will begin his preliminary surgery residency at Loyola University Medical Center in Maywood, Illinois. Dr. Lauren Carlazzi. Dr. Carlazzi will begin a pediatrics residency at Nationwide Children's Hospital in Columbus. Dr. Jessica Casterline. Dr. Casterline begins a pediatric residency at Eastern Virginia Medical School in Norfolk, Virginia. Dr. Sejal Chadari. Dr. Chadari will begin her preliminary surgery residency at St. John Hospital in Detroit, Michigan. Dr. Guo Yu Chen. Dr. Chen will begin a family medicine residency at Case Western Metro Health Medical Center in Cleveland. Dr. Brittany Cho. Dr. Cho will begin an emergency medicine residency at Hofstra Northwell School of Medicine, Staten Island University in Staten Island, New York. Dr. Joanne Christie. Dr. Christie will begin a transitional year at Hurley Medical Center in Flint, Michigan, followed by ophthalmology at SUNY Stony Brook in SUNY Stony Brook, New York. Dr. Jacqueline Cornell. Dr. Cornell begins an obstetrics and gynecology residency with Grand Rapids Medical Education Partners in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Dr. Christopher Costin. Dr. Costin will begin a pediatrics residency at Akron Children's Hospital NEOMED in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Elizabeth Calgill. Dr. Calgill will begin an internal medicine residency at Indiana University School of Medicine in Indianapolis, Indiana. Dr. Dominic Craner. Dr. Craner will begin a general surgery residency at the University of Tennessee College of Medicine in Memphis, Tennessee. Dr. Michael Crawford. Dr. Crawford will begin a pathology residency at the University of Virginia in Charlottesville, Virginia. Dr. Andrew D'Alessandro. Dr. D'Alessandro begins an emergency medicine residency at Vanderbilt University Medical Center in Nashville, Tennessee. Dr. Rahul Dasgupta. Dr. Dasgupta will begin an emergency internal medicine residency at Summa Health System, NEOMED in Akron. Dr. Travis Denmead. Dr. Denmead begins his internal medicine residency at Carolinas Medical Center in Charlotte, North Carolina. Dr. Robert DeVita. Dr. DeVita will begin a transitional year at Summa Health System, NEOMED in Akron, followed by diagnostic radiology at Case Western University Hospital's Medical Center in Cleveland. Dr. Yashu Thamanja. Dr. Thamija will begin an internal medicine residency at Cleveland Clinic Akron General NEOMED in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Andrea Dockery. Dr. Dockery begins a preliminary medicine year at Riverside Methodist, followed by physical medicine and rehabilitation at the Ohio State University Medical Center in Columbus. Dr. Amanda Feldman. Dr. Feldman will begin a pediatrics residency at Cincinnati Children's Hospital Medical Center in Cincinnati, Ohio. Dr. Joseph Fondriest. Dr. Fondriest will begin a psychiatry residency at Summa Health System, NEOMED in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Luke Fraley. Dr. Fraley will begin an internal medicine residency at University of Michigan Hospitals in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Dr. Thomas Galata. Dr. Galata will begin a pediatrics residency at Vanderbilt University Medical Center in Nashville, Tennessee. Dr. Michael Graham. Dr. Graham will begin an internal medicine residency at Summa Health System, NEOMED in Akron. Dr. Monica Gray. Dr. Gray will begin her pediatrics residency at Case Western University Hospital's Medical Center in Cleveland. Dr. Sarak Gupta. Dr. Gupta will begin an internal medicine residency at the University of Louisville School of Medicine in Louisville, Kentucky. Dr. Caleb Habeck. Dr. Habeck will begin a pediatrics residency at Akron Children's Hospital NEOMED in Akron, Ohio. Dr. John Hill the Fourth. Dr. Hill will begin an emergency medicine residency at Cleveland Clinic Akron General NEOMED in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Luke Holder. Dr. Holder will begin a pathology residency at Summa Health System NEOMED in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Stephen Hudson. Dr. Hudson will begin a primary care internal medicine residency at the University of Kentucky Medical Center in Lexington, Kentucky. Dr. Gauri Kapoor. Dr. Kapoor will begin a medicine and dermatology residency at the University of Minnesota Medical School in Minneapolis. Dr. Kapoor is also receiving the bioethics certificate. Dr. Michael Kaminsky. Dr. Kaminsky begins an emergency medicine residency at Indiana University School of Medicine in Indianapolis. Dr. Madeline Karnitis. Dr. Karnitis will begin an emergency medicine residency at Detroit Medical Center, Wayne State University in Detroit, Michigan. Dr. Raymond Kennedy. Dr. Kennedy begins an anesthesiology residency at the University of Wisconsin Hospital and Clinics in Madison, Wisconsin. Dr. Sarah Concarley. Dr. Concarley will begin a transitional year at Summa Health System NEOMED in Akron, followed by diagnostic radiology at Case Western Metro Health Medical Center in Cleveland. Dr. Sandra Cacano. Dr. Cacano will begin a pediatrics residency at Case Western University Hospital's Medical Center in Cleveland. Dr. David Clesaddle. Dr. Clesaddle will begin an internal medicine residency at the University of Cincinnati Medical Center in Cincinnati, Ohio. Dr. Sarah Klein. Dr. Klein begins a pediatric residency at Cincinnati Children's Hospital Medical Center in Cincinnati, Ohio. Dr. Julia Kleinhens. Dr. Kleinhens will begin her pediatrics residency at Children's Hospital of Michigan in Detroit. Dr. Matthew Korean. Dr. Korean will begin his internal medicine residency at the University of Cincinnati Medical Center in Cincinnati, Ohio. Dr. Amy Curavilla. Dr. Curavilla will begin an internal medicine residency at New York Presbyterian Queens in Flushing, New York. Dr. Jessica Lawson. Dr. Lawson will begin an anatomic and clinical pathology residency at Madigan Army Medical Center in Tacoma, Washington. Dr. Pranav Magal. Dr. Magal begins his preliminary surgery residency at Riverside Methodist in Columbus, Ohio. Dr. Andres Maldonado. Dr. Maldonado will begin his emergency medicine residency at Montefiore Medical Center Einstein in Bronx, New York. Dr. Isa Malik. Dr. Malik begins a psychiatry residency at the Ohio State University Medical Center in Columbus, Ohio. Dr. Paige Marty. Dr. Marty will begin an internal medicine residency at the Mayo Clinic School of Graduate Medical Education in Rochester, Minnesota. Dr. Julianne Matthews. Dr. Matthews will begin her preliminary medicine year, followed by ophthalmology at the Ohio State University Medical Center in Columbus. Dr. Carol McCormick. Dr. McCormick begins an emergency medicine residency at Cleveland Clinic, Akron General NEOMED in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Andrew McElroy. Dr. McElroy begins a preliminary surgery year at Detroit Medical Center, Wayne State University, followed by urology at Wayne State University in Detroit. Dr. Michael McFadden. Dr. McFadden will begin a psychiatry residency at Summa Health System NEOMED in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Andrew McNichol. Dr. McNichol will begin an anesthesiology residency at UPMC Medical Education in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Dr. Puyan Makidust. Dr. Namakidis will begin an internal medicine residency with Canton Medical Education Foundation, NEOMED, in Canton, Ohio. Dr. Tyler Nicholson. Dr. Nicholson begins his residency with a transitional year at William Beaumont Army Medical Center in El Paso, Texas. Dr. Ali Nourzad. Dr. Nourzad will begin an orthopedic surgery residency at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles, California. Dr. Aaron Oliger. Dr. Oliger will begin an orthopedic surgery residency at the Cleveland Clinic Foundation in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Elizabeth Olecki. Dr. Olecki will begin a general surgery residency at Penn State Hershey Medical Center in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Dr. Daniel O'Neill. Dr. O'Neill will begin a transitional year at Summa Health System NEOMED in Akron, followed by diagnostic radiology at Eastern Virginia Medical School in Norfolk, Virginia. Dr. Purnima Oraganti. Dr. Oraganti will begin an internal medicine residency at Loyola University Medical Center in Maywood, Illinois. Dr. Robert Owen. Dr. Owen will begin his anesthesiology residency at Icahn School of Medicine in Mount Sinai in New York, New York. Dr. Gaurav Bahuja. Dr. Bahuja will begin residency with a preliminary surgery year, followed by urology, both at Loyola University Stritch School of Medicine in Maywood, Illinois. Dr. Pranay Pandrangi.
Congratulations.
Dr. Pandrangi will begin an internal medicine residency with Grand Rapids Medical Education Partners in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Dr. Joshua Pastor. Dr. Pastor begins an anesthesiology residency at Case Western University Hospital's Medical Center in Cleveland. Dr. Purva Patel. Dr. Patel will begin a pediatrics residency at Baylor College of Medicine in Houston, Texas. Dr. Vidushani Pereira. Dr. Pereira will begin a preliminary medicine year at Cleveland Clinic Akron General, NEOMED, in Akron, Ohio, followed by diagnostic radiology at Virginia Commonwealth University Health System in Richmond, Virginia. Dr. Michael Parisa. Dr. Parisa will begin a pediatrics residency at Nationwide Children's Hospital in Columbus, Ohio. Dr. Maria Pogrebetskaya. Dr. Pogrebetskaya will begin an anesthesiology residency at Case Western University Hospital's Medical Center in Cleveland. Dr. Engad Portal. Dr. Portal will begin a general surgery residency at Providence Park Hospital at the Michigan State University College of Human Medicine in Southfield, Michigan. Dr. Jacob Porat. Dr. Porat will begin a psychiatry residency at Harbor UCLA Medical Center in Torrance, California. Dr. Mark Radetich. Dr. Radetich will begin an internal medicine residency at the Cleveland Clinic Foundation in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Haran Rajeswaran. Dr. Rajeswaran will begin a preliminary surgery year at UIC Mount Sinai Hospital Medical Center in Chicago, Illinois, followed by diagnostic radiology at Case Western University Hospital's Medical Center in Cleveland. Dr. Ryan Reber. Dr. Reber will begin his emergency medicine residency at Cleveland Clinic Akron General NEOMED in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Taylor Rising. Dr. Rising will begin a preliminary surgery year at Allegheny General Hospital in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, followed by diagnostic radiology at Rochester General Hospital in Rochester, New York. Dr. Sarah Rogers. Dr. Rogers will begin an anesthesiology residency at the Cleveland Clinic Foundation in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Stephanie Saad. Dr. Saad begins her dermatology residency at the Ohio State University Medical Center in Columbus. Dr. Julia Sailing. Dr. Sailing will begin an internal medicine residency with Canton Medical Education Foundation NEOMED in Canton, Ohio. Dr. Sailing is also receiving the bioethics certificate. Dr. Kyle Samblanet. Dr. Samblanet will begin a family medicine residency at Tripler Army Medical Center at Tripler AMC in Hawaii. Dr. Nirvana Saraswat. Dr. Saraswat will begin a general surgery residency at Riverside Methodist in Columbus, Ohio. Dr. Alexis Schlosser. Dr. Schlosser will begin a general surgery residency at Orlando Health in Orlando, Florida. Dr. Nicholas Sekalopoulos. Dr. Sekalopoulos will begin an emergency medicine residency at Case Western University Hospital's Medical Center in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Hyo Young Saw. Dr. Saw will begin a family medicine residency at Cleveland Clinic Akron General NEOMED in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Saw is also receiving the bioethics certificate. Dr. Zachary Szanski. Dr. Szanski will begin an anesthesiology residency at the University of Cincinnati Medical Center in Cincinnati, Ohio. Dr. Deep Shah. Dr. Shah will begin an internal medicine residency at Riverside Methodist in Columbus, Ohio. Dr. Ravi Shah. Dr. Shah will begin an anesthesiology residency at Stony Brook Teaching Hospitals in Stony Brook, New York. Dr. Shilp Shah. Dr. Shah will begin an emergency medicine residency at Case Western Metro Health Medical Center in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Mohammed Shanawaz. Dr. Shanawaz will begin a child neurology residency at Emory University School of Medicine in Atlanta, Georgia. Dr. Alora Sharma. Dr. Sharma will begin her emergency medicine residency at Case Western Metro Health Medical Center in Cleveland. Dr. Lincoln Shaw. Dr. Shaw begins his transitional year at McNeil Hospital in Berwyn, Illinois, followed by ophthalmology at the University of Chicago in Chicago, Illinois. Dr. Craig Cecil. Dr. Cecil will begin an orthopedic surgery residency at Summa Health System NEOMED in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Todd Simmons. Dr. Simmons begins a psychiatry residency with Pine Rest Christian Mental Health Services in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Dr. Michael Simonson. Dr. Simonson will begin an internal medicine residency at Summa Health System NEOMED in Akron. Dr. Timothy Smile. Dr. Smile begins a transitional year at Kettering Medical Center in Kettering, Ohio, followed by radiation oncology at the Cleveland Clinic Foundation in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Brandon Smith. Dr. Smith will begin a general surgery residency at Summa Health System NEOMED in Akron. Dr. Smith is also receiving the bioethics certificate. Dr. Michael Smith. Dr. Smith will begin an internal medicine residency at the Cleveland Clinic Foundation in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Whitney Summers. Dr. Summers will begin a family medicine residency at Summa Health System NEOMED in Akron. Dr. Unapama Suntharam. Dr. Suntharam will begin a pediatrics residency at Case Western University Hospital's Medical Center in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Erin Sweeney. Dr. Sweeney will begin a pediatrics residency at Akron Children's Hospital NEOMED in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Rathika Takiar. Dr. Takiar will begin an internal medicine residency at the University of Michigan Hospitals in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Dr. Kimberly Tamargo. Dr. Tamargo will begin a preliminary medicine year at St. Vincent Charity Medical Center, followed by dermatology at Case Western Metro Health Medical Center in Cleveland. Dr. Vineeth Tataneni. Dr. Tataneni will begin an internal medicine residency at Summa Health System NEOMED in Akron. Dr. Atharva Thakur. Dr. Thakur will begin a transitional year at Summa Health System NEOMED in Akron, followed by diagnostic radiology at the University of Cincinnati Medical Center in Cincinnati, Ohio. Dr. Benita Chu. Dr. Chu will begin an internal medicine residency at Santa Barbara Cottage Hospital in Santa Barbara, California. Dr. Joseph Tramer. Dr. Tramer will begin an orthopedic surgery residency with Henry Ford Health System in Detroit, Michigan. Dr. Ashutosh Udupi. Dr. Udupi will begin a transitional year at Summa Health System NEOMED in Akron, followed by anesthesiology at the University of Texas Southwestern Medical School in Dallas, Texas. Dr. Bradley Ullman. Dr. Ullman will begin residency with a transitional year at the Naval Medical Center in Portsmouth, Virginia. Dr. Kyle Unsdorfer. Dr. Unsdorfer will begin a transitional year at Summa Health System NEOMED in Akron, followed by diagnostic radiology at the Mayo Clinic School of Graduate Medical Education in Rochester, Minnesota. Dr. Ramya Vajpayee. Dr. Vajpayee will begin an internal medicine residency at the Cleveland Clinic Foundation in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Paige Vargo. Dr. Vargo begins an internal medicine and psychiatry residency at the Charleston Area Medical Center, West Virginia University in Charleston, West Virginia. Dr. Lilia Vallette. Dr. Vallette will begin a urology residency at Wake Forest University School of Medicine in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Dr. Rowan Vidge. Dr. Vidge will begin a preliminary medicine year at Harbor Hospital Center in Baltimore, Maryland, followed by ophthalmology at Albert Einstein College of Medicine in the Bronx, New York. Dr. Christina Vincer. Dr. Vincer will begin her family medicine residency at Fairview Hospital in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Michael Weber. Dr. Weber will begin an otolaryngology residency at Case Western University Hospital's Medical Center in Cleveland. Dr. Justin Wexler. Dr. Wexler will begin an obstetrics and gynecology residency at Altman Hospital NEOMED in Canton, Ohio. Dr. Elizabeth Whipke. Dr. Whipke will begin a family medicine residency at Summa Health System NEOMED in Barberton, Ohio. Dr. Adam Will. Dr. will begin a family medicine residency at the Naval Hospital in Jacksonville, Florida. Dr. Catherine Williams. Dr. Williams will begin her family medicine residency at Summa Health System NEOMED in Barberton, Ohio. Dr. Melissa Wise. Dr. Wise will begin an obstetrics and gynecology residency at Cleveland Clinic Akron General NEOMED in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Christina Woofter. Dr. Woofter will begin a pediatrics residency at Akron Children's Hospital NEOMED in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Emily Weinkoop. Dr. Weinkoop will begin an orthopedic surgery residency at the University of Toledo in Toledo, Ohio. Dr. Zachary Yetmar. Dr. Yetmar will begin an internal medicine residency at Mayo Clinic School of Graduate Medical Education in Rochester, Minnesota. Dr. Yetmar is also receiving the bioethics certificate. Dr. Christopher Young. Dr. Young will begin a pediatrics residency at Akron Children's Hospital NEOMED in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Patricia Zaccaro. Dr. Zaccaro will begin an internal medicine residency at Case Western Metro Health Medical Center in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Frank Zerfley, Jr. Dr. Zerfley will begin a preliminary medicine year at Summa Health System NEOMED in Akron, Ohio, followed by dermatology at Geisinger Health System in Danville, Pennsylvania.
Will the graduates of the College of Medicine please rise? Please join me in welcoming Ohio's newest physicians, the NEOMED College of Medicine, class of 2017. You may be seated. As new graduates, the students from the College of Medicine will carry on a tradition that was started many years ago at the university, that of a class oath. I would like to call to the podium the members of the College of Medicine Class Oath Committee. Dr. Rahul Dasgupta, Dr. Monica Gray, Dr. Matthew Kurian, Dr. Julia Saling, Dr. Timothy Smile.
On this day, we stand among all who have guided us in our pursuit of medical education. We are eternally grateful for the support and will hold it closely always. Now, we ask the College of Medicine class of 2017 and any physicians present today to please stand and join us in reading our class oath, which can be found on page 41 of the commencement booklet. I pledge my utmost effort to acquire the knowledge, skills, attitudes, and behaviors required for the practice of medicine.
I will strive to uphold the highest standards of excellence in all aspects of my professional life. I will acknowledge my limitations and mistakes and strive to remain humble in the midst of adversity. I will respect all I encounter in my career without regard to gender, race, nationality, religion, or sexual orientation. I pledge to always remember that the patient is why I am here. I will vigilantly revere the fragility and beauty of the human condition. I will attend to the needs of the patient first and foremost, even at the expense of my own benefit. I will suffer with my patients while also maintaining my own well-being. I will use my training to care for all in need without bias. Strive to alleviate suffering when possible, to care even when I cannot cure. I pledge to aid my student colleagues in meeting their professional obligations. I will support my fellow classmates with the expectation that they will do the same for me. I will uphold the rich tradition of the Northeast Ohio Medical University by striving to be a trustworthy and compassionate physician. I hereby commit myself to a life that will bring honor to my profession.
Thank you to the members of the College of Medicine Oath Committee. I am now pleased to call upon my colleague, Dr. Charles Taylor, Vice President for Academic Affairs and Dean of the College of Pharmacy.
College of Pharmacy graduates, in a few moments, you will be pharmacists with all of the opportunities, anticipation, and responsibilities that come with it. Congratulations, I am so proud of you. You came to NEOMED 4 years ago with a dream. Now, you leave prepared, ready to fulfill that dream. Our students, you, the class of 2017, are you're the secret ingredient. Today, you join our pharmacy alumni who each day pursue the goal of helping people live healthier, better lives. I challenge you to embrace the sentiments of Margaret Mead, who said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world." How might you change the world? What if you changed the narrative so the 3 individuals out of every 4 who do not take their medications correctly will do so? What if you changed the narrative so the 1 American who dies every 20 minutes because of prescription drug abuse is saved? What if you changed the narrative so the 1.3 million medication-related injuries that occur annually are prevented? You are the secret ingredient. Seize this opportunity. You are ready. You can change this narrative. Your ability to understand emotions, create relationships, and influence behaviors will be a game changer. You can work to ensure that each person who would benefit the most from medication management has access to it. You can reach out to your colleagues across health professions to try new things, create new models of care. You can share with others the importance of medical research and our desperate need for new weapons to cure disease, stop progression, and certainly improve the quality of life. You are the secret ingredient, but secret you shall no longer be. Make your presence known. Class of 2017, Doctors of Pharmacy, you are ready. Go, make the world a healthier, better place. Thank you. I would now like to introduce the faculty members who were selected by this year's class of graduates to serve as hooders in today's ceremony. They represent the world-class educators at NEOMED that strive each day to help students like you to become the best pharmacists possible. I ask that each individual stand as I call his or her name, and that you hold your applause until all have been introduced. Please join me in recognizing Dr. Chris Paxos, Dr. Altaf Darvish, Dr. Seth Brownlee, Dr. Paula Politis, Dr. Fadi Abdul Razul, and Dr. Monte Sorik. Dr. Politis and Dr. Abdul Razul are also graduates of our university. Thank you. Please be seated. It is my great pleasure and privilege to ask the graduates of the College of Pharmacy, class of 2017, to stand and for President Gershon to approach the podium for the conferring of the Doctor of Pharmacy degree.
Members of the College of Pharmacy class of 2017, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and by the Board of Regents of the State of Ohio, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Pharmacy with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. On behalf of the administration, the faculty, staff, and students, I offer you our warmest congratulations and very best wishes. You may be seated.
Receiving the degree Doctor of Pharmacy, Dr. Kelly Anatra. Dr. Anatra will join Ohio Health Mansfield Hospital in Mansfield, Ohio as a hospital pharmacist. Dr. Hadr Ben Merzuga. Dr. Ben Merzuga will be joining Giant Eagle Pharmacy in Cleveland, Ohio as a community pharmacist. Dr. Kimberly Birchie. Dr. Birchie will join Rite Aid Pharmacy in Akron, Canton area as a community pharmacist. Dr. David Boyce. Dr. Boyce will be joining Rite Aid Pharmacy in Cleveland, Ohio as a community pharmacist. Dr. Valerie Coburn. Dr. Coburn will join Discount Drug Mart in Ohio as a community pharmacist. Dr. John Conley. Dr. Conley will join CVS Pharmacy in the Akron-Canton area as a community pharmacist. Dr. Emily Davis. Dr. Davis will be joining Giant Eagle Pharmacy in the Akron-Canton area as a community pharmacist. Dr. Kelly Deasy. Dr. Deasy will be pursuing a hospital pharmacy position in Columbus, Ohio. Dr. Nicole De Laurentiis. Dr. De Laurentiis will be pursuing a community pharmacy position in Jacksonville, Florida. Dr. Michael DeVito. Dr. DeVito will be pursuing a community pharmacy position. Dr. J. Alexander Dix. Dr. Dix will be joining Summa Rehab Hospital in Akron, Ohio as a hospital pharmacist. Dr. Noor El-Sheikh. Dr. El-Sheikh will be pursuing a community pharmacy career with CVS Pharmacy in Detroit, Michigan. Dr. Matthew Engelhart. Dr. Engelhart will join Walgreens in Akron, Ohio as a community pharmacist. Dr. Aaron Eskenazi Budge. Dr. Eskenazi Budge will join Tri-County Hematology and Oncology in Massillon, Ohio. Dr. Eric Fila. Dr. Fila will begin a pharmacy residency at the Cleveland Clinic in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Angelica Francisco. Dr. Francisco joins the Medicine Shop in Norton, Ohio as their community pharmacist. Dr. Ina Gerasimchuk. Dr. Gerasimchuk will join CVS Caremark in Solon, Ohio as a clinical pharmacist. Dr. James Gliata II. Dr. Gliata will be joining Rite Aid in the Youngstown Alliance area as a community pharmacist. Dr. Sarah Gliata. Dr. Gliata will join Rite Aid as a community pharmacist in Canton, Ohio. Dr. Angela Goodhart. Dr. Goodhart will begin a pharmacy residency at St. Vincent Indianapolis Hospital in Indianapolis, Indiana. Dr. Therese Grieco. Dr. Grieco will be joining Discount Drug Mart in Lakewood, Ohio as their community pharmacist. Dr. Douglas Google Bryant. Dr. Google Bryant will begin a pharmacy residency at Cleveland Clinic, Akron General in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Google Bryant is also receiving the bioethics certificate. Dr. Jimmy Guo. Dr. Guo will be joining CVS Health in the Toledo to Westlake regions of Ohio as a community pharmacist. Dr. Margaret Guy. Dr. Guy will join Walgreens in Cleveland, Ohio as a community pharmacist. Dr. Samantha Hanna. Dr. Hanna will begin a pharmacy residency at Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Dr. Jeremy Harris. Dr. Harris is pursuing a medication therapy management pharmacy position. Dr. Cody Heidi. Dr. Heidi is pursuing a community pharmacy position in the Dayton, Ohio area. Dr. Colton Hill. Dr. Hill will begin a pharmacy residency at Altman Hospital in Canton, Ohio. Dr. Jonathan Holan. Dr. Holan will join Walgreens in Cleveland, Ohio as a community pharmacist. Dr. Catherine Holden. Dr. Holden will be joining Rite Aid as a community pharmacist in Ohio. Dr. Juliana Ivashuk. Dr. Ivashuk is pursuing a hospital pharmacy position in the Northeast Ohio area. Dr. Brianna Chatty. Dr. Chatty will join Walgreens in Canton, Ohio as a community pharmacist. Dr. Nicholas Keller. Dr. Keller will begin a pharmacy residency at Altman Hospital in Canton, Ohio. Dr. China Kim. Dr. Kim is pursuing a community pharmacy position in Michigan. Dr. Christopher Kingsland. Dr. Kingsland will begin a pharmacy residency at Summa Health System in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Alexander Kirkpatrick. Dr. Kirkpatrick will join Walmart in the Akron-Canton area as a community pharmacist. Dr. Cassandra Clevin. Dr. Clevin will begin a pharmacy residency at the University of Cincinnati Medical Center in Cincinnati, Ohio. Dr. Alexa Koutsaris. Dr. Koutsaris will join Pharmacy Care as a community pharmacist in Canfield, Ohio. Dr. Sarah Lehman. Dr. Lehman will join Walgreens in Canton, Ohio as a community pharmacist. Dr. Jason Lee. Dr. Lee is pursuing a community pharmacy position in Las Vegas, Nevada. Dr. Joshua Leffel. Dr. Leffel will join Rite Aid as a community pharmacist in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. Dr. Deanne Lockard. Dr. Lockard is pursuing her pharmacy position. Dr. Tiffany Loy. Dr. Loy will begin a pharmacy residency at NEOMED Access Point in Rootstown, Ohio. Dr. Katie Malis. Dr. Malis will be joining St. Elizabeth's Hospital in Boardman, Ohio as a hospital pharmacist. Dr. Caitlin Mallory. Dr. Mallory will join Kroger Pharmacy as a community pharmacist in Columbus, Ohio. Dr. Katrina Mann. Dr. Mann will begin a pharmacy residency at Cleveland Clinic Marymount Hospital in Garfield Heights, Ohio. Dr. Alicia Mazer. Dr. Mazer will be pursuing a community pharmacy position in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Rochelle Miller. Dr. Miller will join Walgreens as a community pharmacist in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Brianna Malati. Dr. Malati will begin a pharmacy residency at Mercy Medical Center in Canton, Ohio. Dr. Brandon Moore. Dr. Moore will join CVS Pharmacy as a community pharmacist here in Ohio. Dr. Joseph Motika. Dr. Motika will be joining Rite Aid in Akron, Ohio as a community pharmacist. Dr. Reina Mubarak. Dr. Mubarak will begin a pharmacy residency at Cleveland Clinic Fairview Hospital in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Crystal Huynh. Dr. Huynh will join Kroger Pharmacy in Cincinnati, Ohio as a community pharmacist. Dr. Caitlin Oster. Dr. Oster will be joining Discount Drug Mart at St. John Medical Center in Westlake, Ohio as a community pharmacist. Dr. Rohit Patel. Dr. Patel will be joining Walgreens as a community pharmacist in Phoenix, Arizona. Dr. Nicola Pollack. Dr. Pollack will begin a pharmacy residency at University Hospital's Geauga Medical Center in Chardon, Ohio. Dr. Lin Feng. Dr. Feng will be joining Mark's Pharmacy in Cleveland, Ohio as a community pharmacist. Dr. Eric Perinchek. Dr. Perinchek will be pursuing a community pharmacy position. Dr. Nina Protzik. Dr. Protzik will begin a pharmacy residency at University Hospital's Portage Medical Center in Ravenna, Ohio. Dr. Asil Ramahi. Dr. Ramahi will join Rite Aid as a community pharmacist in Youngstown, Ohio. Dr. Jessica Reno. Dr. Reno will begin a pharmacy residency at Summa Health System in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Justin Rulbach. Dr. Rulbach will be pursuing a community pharmacy position in Orlando, Florida. Dr. Melanie Rosem. Dr. Rosem will begin a pharmacy residency at Klein's Pharmacy in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. Dr. Nicole Selsey. Dr. Selsey will join Giant Eagle Pharmacy as a community pharmacist in Cleveland, Ohio. Dr. Morgan Schneider. Dr. Schneider will be joining CVS Pharmacy in Beechwood, Ohio as a community pharmacist. Dr. Ronald Scrim III. Dr. Scrim will be joining Genoa QOL Pharmacy for the Northeast Ohio area as the community pharmacist. Dr. Mohammed Sirhan. Dr. Sirhan will join CVS Pharmacy in Phoenix, Arizona as a community pharmacist. Dr. Amanda Smith. Dr. Smith will be joining Kroger Pharmacy as a community pharmacist in Cincinnati, Ohio. Dr. Claire Stahl. Dr. Stahl will begin a pharmacy residency at the University of Kentucky College of Pharmacy in Lexington, Kentucky. Dr. Danielle Spock. Dr. Spock will join Mark's Pharmacy as a community pharmacist in Ohio. Dr. Kyler Thompson. Dr. Thompson will be joining Mark's Pharmacy in Ohio as a community pharmacist. Dr. Panormitis Tiliakos. Dr. Tiliakos will join CVS Pharmacy as a community pharmacist in Akron, Ohio. Dr. Stephanie Vallada. Dr. Vallada will be joining Discount Drug Mart in Ohio as a community pharmacist. Dr. Samantha Wilkos. Dr. Wilkos will begin a pharmacy residency at Southwest General Health Center in Middleburg Heights, Ohio. Dr. Courtney Wooten. Dr. Wooten will begin a pharmacy residency at Cleveland Clinic, Akron General in Akron, Ohio. Dr. George Chang. Dr. Zhang will be joining CVS Pharmacy as a community pharmacist in Ohio.
Will the graduates of the College of Pharmacy please rise? Please join me in welcoming Ohio's newest pharmacist, the College of Pharmacy, class of 2017. Students from the College of Pharmacy will also carry on the tradition of a class oath. I would like now to call to the podium members of the College of Pharmacy Class of 2017 Oath Committee, Dr. Noor Al-Sheikh, Dr. Eric Fila, Dr. Angela Goodhart, Dr. Douglas Google Bryant, and Dr. Melanie Rosum.
As graduates of the College of Pharmacy Class of 2017, we are excited for the future and thank all of who have helped us to achieve our goals. Members of the College of Pharmacy Class of 2017 and any pharmacists present today, please stand and recite the oath with us in unison. The pharmacy oath can be found on page 60 of the commencement booklet. I promise to devote myself to a lifetime of service to others through the profession of pharmacy. In fulfilling this vow, I will always remember that the patient is why I'm here. I will not only provide care to my patients, I will care for my patients. I will show compassion to all patients regardless of race, creed, or circumstance. I will use my knowledge and skills to positively impact patient care and improve health outcomes. I will continue to pursue new knowledge to remain proficient throughout my career. I will practice with honor and integrity and be guided by what is right, true, fair, and good. I will embrace changes that improve patient care and advocate for the profession of pharmacy. I will teach those around me while remaining humble enough to learn from them as well. I will remain true to myself and stand up for what I believe is right. I will always act in the best interest of the patient. I take these vows voluntarily with the full realization of the responsibility with which I am entrusted by the public.
Please be seated, and thank you to the members of the College of Pharmacy Oath Committee. I am now pleased to call upon my colleague, Dr. Steve Schmidt, Interim Vice President for Research and Interim Dean of the College of Graduate Studies.
Thank you, Dr. Taylor. Some years ago, the famous TV journalist Walter Cronkite got everyone's attention by saying, "America's healthcare system is neither healthy, caring, nor a system." Although Mr. Cronkite may have been saying it for effect, many may not totally disagree with him today. Designed to discover and advance knowledge and enhance credentials of students and professionals, the College of Graduate Studies offers programs determined to make America's public healthy, to develop practitioners and administrators into emotionally intelligent, caring professionals, to manage complex health systems, and to contribute to the overall base of biomedical science knowledge. Our college is the place where physicians, pharmacists, nurses, and other healthcare professionals go when they may already be providing quality care or appreciate the need for it. Yet they want to understand how to manage other emotional, social, cultural, and environmental determinants that affect wellness, as well as the outcomes of interactions with patients, practitioners, associates, and subjects of research. To our graduate studies students, your insatiable curiosity for discovery and development of cures and medical therapies, of leadership qualities and wellness for communities, is informed by your self-awareness and concerns for public health. Your desire to reduce uncertainties beyond research and analytics by investing in self-reflection, recognizing different viewpoints, community assessment, and understanding complex institutions will be invaluable as you interact with patients, teams in research and practice, organization, and society as a whole. The experiences of which you've engaged and the knowledge you have acquired, combined with your intentional development of self, to bring a heightened sense of awareness to the role you play in every encounter. I applaud you for realizing that the dynamic healthcare sector needs innovative professionals who are conscious of the benefits of mindful practice when providing care, managing systems, collaborating in discovery and development, and leading teams to affect policies and services in our communities. It is only upon becoming self-aware will other opportunities external to you be optimized, and so will the results. While you may serve in different fields of healthcare, with each having interactions that are as unique as you are individuals, all of you benefit from the advancement of the health sciences when our collective work is considerate and compassionate. To all of our graduates of 2017, thank you. The College of Graduate Studies incorporates 6 programs of study leading to advanced degrees. As we shared this special day with our special graduates, I would like to acknowledge the individuals serving as Hooter today for the PhD degree within the College of Graduate Studies. Doctoral Advisor Dr. Samuel D. Krish, Associate Professor of Pharmaceutical Sciences. Thank you. It's now my great pleasure and privilege to ask our candidate for the Doctor of Philosophy degree to stand, and for President Gershon to approach the podium for the conferring of just our 4th Doctor of Philosophy degree in integrated pharmaceutical medicine.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and the Board of Regents of the State of Ohio, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. On behalf of the administration, the faculty, staff, and students, I offer you our warmest congratulations and very best wishes.
Receiving the Doctor of Philosophy degree in Integrated Pharmaceutical Medicine, Dr. Matthew Smith. Dr. Smith's dissertation is entitled Unveiling the Impact of the Opathies, Axonopathy, Dysferopathy, and Synaptopathy in Glaucomatous Neurodegeneration. Dr. Smith is being hooded by his doctoral advisor, Dr. Samuel Krish II.
At this time, I ask the graduates of the Master of Public Health degree program to stand, and for President Gershon to approach the podium for the conferring of degrees.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and the Board of Regents of the State of Ohio, I confer upon you the degree of Master of Public Health with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. On behalf of the administration, faculty, staff, and students, I offer you our warmest congratulations and very best wishes.
Receiving the Master of Public Health degree, Dr. Nelson Baez. Shantae Caven.
It is now my great pleasure and privilege to ask the graduates of the Master of Science in Health System Pharmacy Administration to stand, and for President Gershon to approach the podium for the conferring of the Master of Science degree.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and by the Board of Regents of the State of Ohio, I confer upon you the degree of Master of Science with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. On behalf of the administration, faculty, staff, and students, I offer you our warmest congratulations and very best wishes.
Receiving the Master of Science degree in Health System Pharmacy Administration, Dr. Thomas Aki. Dr. Magdi Awad. Robert Calhoun. Dr. Evan Kirkendall. Dr. James Reisick.
Will all PhD, MPH, and Master of Science in Health System Pharmacy Administration graduates please stand? Please join me in welcoming Ohio's newest health professionals from the College of Graduate Studies graduating class of 2017. Please be seated.
At this time, we are pleased to honor 6 of our students who plan to immediately use their skills in medicine to serve as officers in our country's armed forces. We invite Dr. Bradley Ullman, Dr. Adam Will from the U.S. Navy, and Dr. Stephen Ayers, Dr. Jessica Lawson, Dr. Tyler Nicholson, and Dr. Kyle L. Sembaina from the U.S. Army to join us on stage in their military dress uniforms. They will be joined by Captain Andrew Neubecker, officer in charge of the Cleveland Medical Recruiting Center. He will conduct the United States Armed Forces ceremony while members of their family assist with the pinning of these officers. Joining Captain Neubecker is Lieutenant Commander Cindy Beljajar from the U.S. Navy to assist with the commissioning.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're about to take the oath of military office, becoming an officer in the medical corps of your respective branch of service, after which time your family members and loved ones will present you with the naval rank of lieutenant or the Army rank of captain. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office into which I am about to enter. So help me God.
Right, two. Officers, left, face. Officer, about face. Officer, left, fake.
Congratulations to our officers serving our country in the United States Armed Forces. As you may know, May is National Military Appreciation Month, and the third Saturday in May, which happens to be today, is Armed Forces Day. Will all current and former members of the U.S. Armed Forces please stand if you're able? We want to thank you for all your patriotic service and support of our country. Please be seated.
Officers, right face. Forward, march.
Graduates, today you join a much larger network. That network consists of NEOMED alumni who serve the health needs of communities in Northeast Ohio and beyond. Please welcome the President-elect of the NEOMED Alumni Association and graduate class of 1984, Dr. Mark Hosteller, to officially welcome you to our alumni family.
Thank you, Dr. Gershon. Welcome, fellow alumni. As a proud graduate of Northeast Ohio Medical University, I know what this moment's like. I know the hard work you've put in and the great relationships you've built with faculty, classmates, and staff. I want to congratulate all of today's graduates for your accomplishments and wish you much success. You're now a member of the NEOMED alumni community of 4,131 healthcare professionals. As a fellow member of the Alumni Association, I know you'll make us all proud in your endeavors as successful practitioners, researchers, and educators. But like everyone else who's spoken before me, I also want to add that it's through self-assessment and understanding how you interact with others that you'll see the true breadth and depth of your NEOMED connections. We're all patient-centered, and though many choose pediatrics, internal medicine or emergency medicine, or psychiatry, surgery, or anesthesiology, community pharmacy, veterinary pharmacy, or drug development, just to name a few, NEOMED alumni can be found practicing in more than 50 fields of healthcare. Though most of us are from and return to Northeast Ohio, NEOMED alumni can be found in every state in the U.S. And though we work in the best hospitals, pharmacies, and research and health institutions in our region, we practice in dozens of other great institutions across the country. I mention all of these because you'll now be connected in field specialty networks, organizational networks, geographical networks, and others of which all are resources for you to be an even better you. These communities and the patients you serve within will have better outcomes as you continue to develop your emotional and social capabilities. The wellness of the whole community for which you now belong will improve as you provide care to the whole person. As alumni, in addition to your own connections, you'll now have thousands of second and third degree connections to all of those fields and organizations and people and places. So now that you've earned the right to join our alumni community, let's make it official. Grab your tassel. It's time to turn right to the left. You are now all graduates of Northeast Ohio Medical University. Please stand, turn and face your family and friends, and receive their congratulations and warm applause.
Thank you, Dr. Hosteller. Before concluding today's ceremony, I would like to recognize the family members and loved ones of our graduates who have contributed to this happy occasion in so many ways. Graduates, it's your turn. Let's give us a fine round of applause and appreciation to the parents, other family members, friends, and loved ones who supported you during this journey. Today, we salute 140 College of Medicine graduates. 45% of those graduates have chosen residencies in primary care, and 55% of them have chosen residencies in the state of Ohio. Other medicine graduates have chosen specialty fields like dermatology, urology, pathology, just to name a few. Today, we also celebrate 77 College of Pharmacy graduates. Most of these pharmacists will go directly into practice. 19 of these graduates have chosen to be pharmacists in residencies first. 15 of those students will complete their residency training at a pharmacy practice setting in Northeast Ohio. 8 students graduated from our College of Graduate Studies today. Demand for programs in this college will continue to grow as drug development, system management, public health, ethics, and humanities are increasingly become understood for the positive change and impact that they have on healthcare. And this spring, we add a Master of Arts degree with tracks in humanities and medical ethics. The program is enrolling students now for the fall. The priorities of our comprehensive fundraising campaign, Shine On, include advancing students, advancing innovation and research, and advancing community health. Today, our graduates serve as great examples for what that truly means. Class of 2017, you have advanced to become doctors of medicine, pharmacy, and integrated pharmaceutical medicine. You have advanced to become masters of public health and health system pharmacy administration. A class of 225 graduates, each of whom will give care, hope, wellness, and at times extended life to thousands of others. We all shine today because of you. Know that the education, research, and service for which you have committed the rest of your life makes the future brighter for everyone. This moment deserves continuing celebration, so I invite all of you to join us at a reception that will be held immediately following the recessional in the Goodrich and Robertson lobbies. We ask that our guests remain seated for the recessional. The graduates will proceed to a closed location for group photos and will join the families for the reception directly afterwards. And now, as we begin the recessional, I ask that all graduates, faculty, and stage party members stand, and members of the audience, please remain seated until all members of the stage party, faculty, and graduates have left the auditorium. Thank you and congratulations.